How's it going, guys? Luker back again, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 decks for Manas of the Darkmoon Faire. I realize it's kind of hard to give like a concrete list, and you have all these tier lists like HS Replay, Syndicate, etc. Just putting out their amalgamation of the best decks, and I felt like it might be good for me to give you my opinion. Obviously, all this is opinion, so be careful before you craft any decks, but this is what I felt like, or I guess like the best performing decks on ladder after queuing in like top 100 to 200 for the past 3 to 4 days. If you enjoy high legend content, you should check out my stream over at twitch.tv/LukerHS as always. Now that I did that sellout part, the way this list is going to work is we're going to start with the 5th, I guess, best deck, and then we'll go to 4th best, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So the last deck we talk about will be the deck that I think is the best. Probably will come to no surprise to you which deck I think is the best right now. If you watched my stream or even seen my last video, well, I mean, it's kind of evident. But I'll talk about them all in depth, or a little bit in depth at least, and give you guys my feedback on them. Alright, before we get started, if you guys could do me a favor and press that thumbs up button, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. It would help me out a ton. The support I got on my last like 3 videos has been insane, and it's actually, it makes me so happy, and it's just, it makes me feel like I'm making good content, you know? It makes me feel like I'm actually, like the effort I'm putting in is being noticed, and it makes me happy. So, yeah. I appreciate that, guys. So if you enjoy the content, let me know. Thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you disagree with my list, well, comment comment and let me know what you think are the best decks. Alright, guys, without further ado, let's take a look at the first deck on the list. Alright, so as always, we're going to be starting with number 5 on the list. And again, as always, if you guys want any of the decks, you can find them in the description below. Just gotta scroll down. It'll be probably right above my social media links, which you can press and follow me on there. Alright, that's for real, guys. Number 5 on this list is Highlander Priest. I wasn't sure if I want to put it here because, well, A, I'm not a fan of how Priest plays nowadays. I miss the old combo variants. And B, because I feel like it's close, you know, like number 5 could have been Highlander Priest, but it also could have been like the tempo combo-ish rogue deck that you, or secret rogue, I guess, you probably see on a ladder. But I think the rogue deck gets a lot worse when people realize how to play against it and understand that they will in fact Edwin you on turn 1 consistently, and you know, maybe you'll keep your silences for it. But I think Highlander Priest is just a pretty good ladder deck, and I've been seeing it quite a bit. I think it isn't being played too much in the lower like echelons of Legend, but at the top parts I've seen it a decent amount. The lists are relatively standard, but they run the new palm reading and the spell that draws a minion from your deck, and if it's corrupt it costs 2 less. I think these cards are just very good additions to Highlander Priest. Yeah, I mean, there isn't much to say. Highlander Priest is just relatively, I mean, it's a pretty good deck. You know, you have Zephyrs, that's it, that's all you need. You have Raised Dead for the Zephyrs, you can play it twice. Need I say more? Probably not. Personally, if you play Highlander Priest, I might not like you that much. I think, you know, I'll love you and welcome you as a subscriber, but the respect is going to shrink a little bit. It's going to be looking like me right after I get out of the pool on a cold, cold day in the winter. But, again, yeah, there's not much else to say. I think Highlander Priest is just a pretty consistent deck. You beat up on ETC Warrior, but you probably lose to decks like Combo Rogue or Secret Rogue. I think Secret Rogue probably just abuses you, but then you will never lose a game to ETC Warrior. You just don't play minions, and you mind render their combo, and they lose. If you do play this matchup, though, make sure that you play Plague of Death on Rattlegore instead of stealing it. If you steal it, you give them a way to win. If you do steal Rattlegore, make sure to give it Apotheosis, that way they can't just combo off of you. But yeah, please don't play Highlander Priest, and I'm not just saying that because I am a warrior player, I swear. But it is a pretty good deck, and if you master the deck and play it flawlessly, you will surely climb to Legend in no time at all. Let's take a look at number 4 on this list. To no surprise to anybody, coming up on number 4 on this list is Revolve Shaman. I think it's pretty evident to most people that this is just my mic is backwards. This is just a really well-rounded deck and pretty powerful. There was some debate when the deck first came out. People were saying that it should be nerfed. It's too powerful, it's too versatile, and I mean, it's annoying, I will say. There are a lot of good minions you can evolve into, so, like Nosdorn Row for 4. There's the 3/8 taunt, the mech thing, the whatever it's called, Hecklebot. Yeah, there's just like there's a lot of good minions, and it can be really annoying to play at times, but I do think that Evolve/Revolve Shaman is a very good deck. I don't think it needs to be nerfed. I think it does lose. It does lose to control decks, Priest, Control Warrior, even like some aggro decks like Tempo Demon Hunter, I want to say. So it's just like, to me, it doesn't make sense to nerf the deck, but it is really powerful, and it's a very consistent deck. If you like randomness and you like wacky things happening in your games, then this is a great deck to play for you. I know I called it Revolve Shaman, but the list I will be featuring here, and that you can find in the description, is actually not featuring Revolve. It is Drombray's list, which she cut the Revolves to focus more on like a minion-based and like totem package. I think Revolve does fit the deck very well, but it's not as needed as once thought. You kind of just full mull for anything that's, you full mull anything that's not like Cage Match Custodian or the weapon, and then you just kind of woo and evolve shit. That's not a definitive guide. There's probably some more stuff you can do to improve your win rate, but I do think it's a pretty good deck. And with a little bit of practice, you'll be soaring high to the top ranks, so please give it a shot if you like this kind of deck. And for number 3, we have Tempo Demon Hunter. You probably remember this archetype if you played when Demon Hunter first came out. It just kind of ran over ladder. It feels a little weird calling it Tempo Demon Hunter because it curves out at 3, and you just don't play for tempo, you just hit them in the head. But it's what people have started to call it. Realistically, it's probably like an aggro-ish Demon Hunter, but both names work. You take the board early, you hit your opponent in the head in the mid game, and the late game, there's no late game, because if there is, you probably conceded by then. Your general game plan is to play your minions and then use the new tools, Stilt Stepper and Aerobatics, to just keep drawing and keep killing. Stilt Stepper will always be active on turn 6 because you can only draw minions that are 1 to 3 mana, and you get them. If you're playing against more slow decks, then cards like Cult Neophyte will come into hand, or come into play? Yeah, be helpful. There you go. I'm brain dead. But yeah, seriously, this deck is very good. It is, I don't say all over ladder, I think its older brother Soul Demon Hunter is more prevalent. Definitely more powerful, but that doesn't stop it from being a good deck, I think. Tempo Demon Hunter is arguably the fastest deck we have right now. I think it honestly is faster than Hunter. I mean, Face Hunter is probably faster, but we don't really see too much Face Hunter. We see mostly Highlander Hunter. But I do think this is just a very good deck. I know I've been giving downsides for every deck and saying, like, well, it loses to this, or this might be a problem. But every deck has problems. Everything has flaws. You have flaws. I have many flaws. It should be like that. But this deck hits you in the face, and I don't think that's a flaw. I think that's a benefit. If you like aggro decks and you don't like random, this is the deck for you, None Evolved Shaman. It's probably a little bit better. So I recommend trying out Illidan with Tempo Demon Hunter, but if you don't like Tempo Demon Hunter, there's another Demon Hunter archetype for you. They'll be coming up next. I record these like each part, like number 3, 5, 4, that was bad math, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I do them all in like little segments. I break it down to its own recording. So I have to like pause and be like, all right, next up, and then I cut the next one, and my editor cuts the next one. And it feels so weird because I don't know how to transition properly. I don't want to, do I do a drum roll? Do I just like, I don't know. But anyway, number 2 on this list is Soul Demon Hunter. If you played ladder, you've seen Soul Demon Hunter. A lot of you are probably surprised that this isn't number 1 on the list. The deck was the best deck in the meta before the new expansion, and then all the new expansion did was give it Bladed Lady and Il'gynoth, which are both really good cards. I've seen people run Stilt Stepper, which I don't think is very good. It kind of doesn't work when you're running Skull. It doesn't work when you're running Bladed Lady a lot of the time. So there's just a lot of cards that make it like inactive. So I recommend not playing Stilt Steppers. The only new cards you really need are Il'gynoth and Bladed Lady. This deck is amazing. It is impressively broken. It's pretty much the second best deck in the game is the best way to put it. I think there is a skill cap to it. There's a lot of knowing when to go in, when to use it, like when to swing with weapons, when to just punch face, when to trade. But realistically, you could probably program like a level 2 bot, like a level 2 chess bot to play this deck at a decent level. Just load your stuff up and hit him in the face. It's like a mid-range aggro deck because you hit them in the head, but in some games you do play for board, but most of the time you just hit them in the head. I do think Soul Demon Hunter is a very versatile deck. I think it's one of the best decks in the game. It was one of my favorite decks last meta, but I felt like it was too strong for too long, and now it's just kind of boring. It's like, the deck was really cool to me when no one was playing it, but then it got kind of boring because like every game was just Demon Hunter mirrors, or you play any deck, you shoot Demon Hunter, and it got on my nerves quite a bit. But maybe Darkmoon Faire is your first expansion. Maybe you didn't get bored. Maybe you really just want to win. Then I think this deck is for you. I think this is, I don't want to say the easiest deck to play on this list, but it's like, because Evolved Shaman's on the list. But it's easier than the first deck to play, like the number 1 deck, and it's pretty close in power level, so I definitely recommend giving it a try, and let me know how it does. Alright, to no surprise, to anyone who knows me, number 1 on this list is Pirate Rogue. I'm fucking with you. Number 1 on this list is ETC OTK Warrior. I strongly believe this is the best deck in the game. I think it's one of the best decks we've ever had. I think it's insanely powerful, insanely versatile, consistent. It's so good. Everything about this deck is so good. I could literally make a 20-minute video of me just sucking off the idea of this deck. It's so good. The list I've been playing and the list I'm showing here is Dead Draw's list. I know I only named some of the lists. That's because, well, some of the lists are just pretty generic, like the Highlander Priest, but this is Dead Draw's list, and I think it's the best version. I've seen lists that run 2 Broomsticks, or 2 Penflingers, I almost spilled my tea, or that cut some of the removal cards like Hunter Ace is listed and play just combo cards, and I don't think that's as good. I think this list is the best it can be. There's like argument maybe to cut the Minefield, but it feels good every time I play it, so I like this list. ETC Warrior is one of the most flexible decks I've ever played. one of the biggest issues I've seen people run into is that when you play the deck, you just go for the combo every game, and they're like, people will ask me, and they'll be like, I see this comment literally every stream, like 10 times, and it's like, how do you win if they don't play minions? And it's like, oh, I fatigue them. And it's like, what if they don't draw? It's like, well, I gain 400 armor. It's like, what if they get the rear armor with Plate Breaker? Well, I play Rattlegore and I copy it. It's like the deck can do so many different things. Like in the mirror, you just play for Rattlegore and you coin Rattlegore or play it on 9 and copy like it twice. Against like aggro decks, you just remove the board early and then gain 40 armor. Against Shaman, you just remove the board every turn and then stick a Rattlegore or just any minion, it doesn't really matter. In like mid-range matchups or some solar ones, you'll OTK, like against control decks or, well, most control decks, sorry. And like against Demon Hunter, you just match their draws the entire time, gain armor and slowly prevent them from killing you, and you can Bulwark of Azan off their swing turns, and then they fatigue and you win. And it's insane. Playing against Demon Hunter, I've won like almost every game. I had like an 85% win rate in that matchup, maybe 80. Against Shaman, I'm like 85. And then like Paladin's kind of bad. Rogue's like not too great. Priest is unwinnable though. I will strongly say, I strongly believe this. If the Priest player plays well, this matchup is almost unwinnable. They won't draw cards. They won't play minions, and the second you play Rattlegore, they'll Plague of Death because they're all Highlander, or they'll Hex it with Zephyrs, and the game is unwinnable. It's horrendous. This is the worst matchup I have almost ever played. It reminds me of like Threes Mage versus like Control Warrior. But aside from that, the deck is great. Nobody plays Priest. In top 200, I think there are like 3 Priest players. It's like Bear Nugget, Comic, and like one like Racy. So it's like as long as you dodge them, you're fine. And when you're playing like a wider field and you're at like lower ranks, whether it be Legend or Diamond 5, Silver, Gold, it doesn't matter. It's mostly Demon Hunter, it's mostly Shaman, it's a lot of other decks, it's not really Priest. And the Priests might misplay at lower ranks, so I think, yeah, if you play this deck well, there are no unfavorables. I will say, I know this is the longest segment, I'm rambling at this point, this deck is very hard to play. There is so many intricacies and you have to learn every matchup. I strongly suggest watching my stream over at twitch.tv/Luker_HS, or just, you know, playing 1,000 games and mastering the deck. It's very hard. I've played like 250 games and I still don't think I like know most, like all of it. There's still turns that I'm like confused about, but I definitely recommend putting the time in and learning the deck before quitting. If you are hesitant to craft it and you don't like this kind of deck, I wouldn't waste the dust because it is kind of expensive. But if you master it and they don't nerf it, this deck is going to run rampant on ladder for quite a long time. The only issue is that it's like kind of easy to target it. You can play Sticky Fingers, you can play Plate Breaker, which is so stupid. I've seen people play Silas, I've seen people play Ooze. I've beat all of these tech cards consistently. Like, I beat someone running Plate Breaker, Silas, and Ooze as Demon Hunter. But if they get it with the right hand, it can really be really detrimental to you. So I would be cautious if you are seeing a lot of tech cards in your area. Maybe call the police if there are too many. But thank you for watching this top 5. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I, for one, know that I loved to make it. It was just a wonderful, like, I just love this meta. This meta is actually good. I don't usually say that. I'm usually pretty negative, but I've been enjoying this meta. Maybe it's because I found ETC Warrior. It's like the love of my life. I've been waiting for it forever. Who knows? Maybe Blizzard will take them away from me and they'll leave me. They'll take the kids. They'll take the house. They'll leave me with nothing. Just like they did with Turtle Mage. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to press that thumbs up button and let me know that you liked it. It really does help a lot. Every time you guys like the video, it pushes it back into the algorithm of blah, 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 and it really does help me out, and it keeps my channel growing. I'm doing as many videos as I can a week. It's kind of hard. I'm not used to it yet, but I'm getting in the groove, as you guys have probably seen. I've ramped up from 1 into a couple. Also, if you can press that big red button that says subscribe, it will make me happy. It's free, literally costs $0. All you need is a YouTube account. And again, it notifies you when I make a new video. I think you can press the bell to also do that. Alright, I'm done selling out. If you guys enjoyed, please let me know. If you didn't enjoy, well, I'm pretty sure Zeddy or Solemn uploaded a video today, so you can go check that out instead. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful week. Peace out, Cub Scouts, and I'll catch you guys next time.